Hello and welcome to another session of Q-Train. Okay, if you have been following our different sessions, we are now at the point where we need to do a variety of things to clean up our student name area. Okay, now I want to show you something. Now watch this. When I click on a student's name, there's a hyperlink there, and it tries to take me back to SLDS. Okay, so I need to get rid of that hyperlink. Okay, and after I get rid of the hyperlinks, what I'm going to do is make sure that this one column is all under one column head. Okay, let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select by holding down on my shift button and using my down arrow to select all of my student names. Okay, so that's shift and down arrow, and I'm going to select all of my student names. Okay, we have selected all of our student names. I'm going to go back to the top. Okay, I've captured everyone. Now I'm going to right click, and notice I'm going to use the option that says remove hyperlink. Let's do that. Okay, it didn't work. Let's do it again. We're going to there we go. It's processing slowly, but it's processing. Okay, it just removed all of the hyperlinks. So now when I click on a name, it no longer no longer tries to send me to a website. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this column D. Remember, the goal is to make sure that my student names all fall up under one column head, which is A. Okay, so I'm going to select column D by noticing when I hover over the D, if I click on it, it creates a down arrow. Now I'm going to choose edit and delete. Okay, it's now gone. I'm going to do the same thing for columns C and D. Okay, let's do it again. Delete. Okay, let's do it for column B. Delete. Okay, now I'm going to deselect that column, and I'm going to hover between the A and B. Notice how when I hover between the A and B, my cursor changes. So now I'm going to double click. Now, what that does is it extends or expands the column to the length of the largest name. Okay, now if you notice, I no longer have the ability to filter on A. Okay, so let's fix that. I'm going to select row 1. I'm going to cut my filters off by clicking on it. Notice how my drop down menus are now gone. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut my filters on again. Now I have the ability to filter student names. Okay, I have one more area to fix before we go. Remember, technically, Lexile is still falling under two different column heads. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select column J. I'm going to use edit and delete. Okay, now everything is properly falling under one column head. Okay, my next step is to get rid of all of these Y's, okay, these extra rows. So let's run a filter. We're going to click off the 6. We're going to check off 6, and now I'm left with only the Y's. Okay, wonderful. So what I'm going to do next is stretching from column, let's do it this way. Let's scroll all the way over to our last growth column, and I'm going to be at left click under row 1, left click and hold, and I'm going to drag it all the way over to column A. Okay, and I'm going to drag it all the way down to my last Y. All right, there we go right there. I'm going to right click And I'm looking for a delete option, but here it is, delete row. Click delete row. Delete entire row. Yes, that is correct. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click back on my filter, and now I'm going to check 6. And I now have all of my students. Okay. Now I'm going to do a little test just to make sure that everything is correct. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select rows 3 through whatever, and I'm going to change the color of those rows. I'm going to change the background to, let's say, red. Okay, now I'm going to run a filter. Now when I run the filter, if I have set my filters up correctly, when I run the filter such that the names are in alphabetical order, if it filters correctly, the row will all be red going across. It won't look like a checkerboard. The row will remain red because the row did not break up when we ran our filter. Okay, so I'm now going to put my names in alphabetical order based on the last name. Okay, it worked. You see, my rows are red all the way across. Now, if the rows are broken up, that would mean something is wrong. It would mean that my data scrambled. So that's a problem. Okay, so everything worked out fine. So I believe we are pretty much done with this 4th section. Okay, thanks a lot. Look forward to session 5.
Listen,
Bye-bye.
baby.